talk about gratitude, when I'm having a bad day, I'll think about people that I don't even know who have found joy in like the show or a thing that I've done.
Yeah.
And it'll help. It'll help a lot. And so that show is such a gift. Yeah. Very, very grateful.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I Love You So Much. We're here today with my friend, Joe Lo Truglio.
Hi, Tyler. I'm very happy to be here.
The amazing.
Thanks, everyone, for having me.
Joe Lo Truglio. And yeah, man, you mentioned, like, I was a fan of yours from the State before I ever met you. And from so many things, man, like you as an actor, comedian, fellow human being, just like from the get-go, I was like, oh my God, I'm working with this guy.
Thanks, man. So I've been really lucky with the career in this crazy business, which is now upside down, as you know.
I know, dude.
And, you know, I'm just grateful for like stuff like this. And, you know, you find these pockets of people that you remember, that you click with, that kind of make it worth it. And it really does make it worth it, because most of it is terrible. The business part, horrifying. You know?
Yeah.
I'm very grateful. The industry is treated me very well. I don't mean to sound ungrateful at all, but you know, there's some really ugly parts to it that are hard to kind of come around and like get a handle on it and get your joy back in it, and you know, kind of struggling.
You're
with
always
that
having
now.
to like circumnavigate the horrid parts of the industry.
Yeah,
and it's funny because I think people from the outside perspective, there's like, those live in the extremes. It's like the glam, and then there's like everyone's like, oh, Hollywood's so shitty, but the truth is somewhere in between. You know,
it's
like
somewhere in between.
You really can have a community of friends and peers, and then when you find those people, you get to experience both those ends of it together, which makes them seem less extreme or desperate or whatever.
Yeah,
it is, you know?
the
like,
lows are a little bit easier.
Yeah.
There's some quote. It's something like, shared joy is double joy.
Oh, I like that.
Shared grief is half grief.
Oh yeah,
man. And so it's really true. And you know, you when you have that other person to kind of bounce off of, like, you're rewarded double time, and you're eased double time. And I try to remember that.
Who do you share your joy and your grief with the most, do you think, in your life?
Oh, well, I think, you know, my wife Beth, and
she's wonderful,
and friends and male. And I know that you know, you talked about this and probably on the podcast in general, male friendships, which I think are just so crucial. I remember my dad one time was like, you know, your family's really important. He's like, but your friends are almost as, and some are even more. Yeah. And for my dad to say that was just like, wow. And it's true.
Why so alarming from your dad? Was he more
I don't know. I guess because he's dad and he's family, right? And to kind of realize the importance and the different nature of a male friendship that isn't connected with all these other codependencies you have with your family is really unique and precious, because it provides a perspective where you don't feel like you are indebted. To a family.
And I could see that coming from, like, if my dad said that to me, because my dad was a bit anomalous that way. Like, he was very social, but didn't really have friends, you know? I mean, in our family, he did. Like my uncles and whatnot. But even that, my dad could be an island really easily, but still be this like jovial guy.
Right.
On the outside, mostly.
Yeah, okay.
But if he had said something like that to me, that probably would have been pretty like, it breaks that dad bubble for you as a kid, right? You're like, oh, right, I'm not, this isn't, you weren't just born to be a dad. Like, you have a whole life outside of this. And like,
and when, as you know, when you become a dad, it really, it's really just a mirror up at your own crap.
Oh my God, dude. I know, like, especially you think like when they're younger, there's all these challenges, right? Like, and a lot of them are way more sort of shocking and pressing, because you're like, I have to learn how to live without sleep. I have to learn how to live where my partner and I are constantly in contention for something. And then as they get older, you realize, oh no, man, it's like, it now is really a reflection. It's this mirror. And then your parenting advice and the ways you show up become way more important. You know what I mean? Like when they're little, yes, showing up is the whole thing. It's 90%.
That's what I've realized. Like, because, I, like many dads, I'm sure panic or have these insecurities in the middle of the night. Like, man, I'm going to F it up. I'm going to I hope I don't ruin them. I hope, what am I not doing? Yeah. All that stuff
How many kids do you have?
Just one.
You have one, right? One. Yeah. How old is your kid?
He's 10.
He's 10. Right. So okay. So 10 is a big turning point for me. Like,
yeah.
I remember at 9, I've been in a multitude of therapies, like different disciplines of therapies for years and years. But the 9-year mark for me, for whatever reason, is where I carry a lot of my biggest, they call them screaming memories, right? Ones that are sort of umbrella memories, where a lot of other memories sort of are formed and live underneath.
Yeah, really.
But this is it's like a lightning rod. No, from my 9-year experience.
Oh, okay.
But 9 years old is like a big moment of change for you. It's like an explosion of self-awareness, of curiosity.
Yep.
And so at 9, I'm looking at my 9-year-old right now, and I don't think I thought about it as much with my other two. I'm like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, you're not missing a fucking beat right now. Everything is landing for you. Everything I say means something to you.
Yeah.
I talked with Ken about that, where it's like these things you say in passing.
Right.
That could change your kid's entire life.
Yeah, I try to remember that. I realize how much they remember. Like, my son will be like, remember that time you said this? I'm like, no. Often
like, sounds like me, but
I didn't remember it. But, I realized that is a really precious age. I was thinking about when I was 9 and 10, it's like 79, 80, and I'm watching these horror movies. I'm reading Fangoria. I'm reading Mad Magazine. I'm like with my friends. I'm collecting the Star Wars figures, and all of this stuff is like right there. And it's like it's yesterday. I can still
the
see
80s for me are like a safe place.
I'll say that one of the advantages of being unemployed, because I haven't really worked in a year, really, is having this time with Eli, like at this age, because I think between like 9 and 12, that's kind of the golden time for fathers and sons.
Absolutely. I was going to say, for every parent, I think, but for dads and sons, I think 9 to even like to 15, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought by like 13, 14, they start giving you the tude.
Sure.
Like
maybe
off.
13. Let's say 13. 9 to 13. But
so that's how like I'm kind of taking this time that's been really slow to be like, you know what? I'm showing up. There's this. I'm seeing all these, seeing Eli pitch and play soccer and all that stuff. Yeah. So showing up. You're right.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's what life, though.
Yeah.
Is showing up.
I think it's for all relationships, but with your kids, like what I think I meant by that was that like when they're little, you just have to not kill them. You have to just give them enough food to live.
Yeah.
A roof over their head. You just don't kill them. Don't kill your kids. Yeah. Inadvertently or otherwise. Then as they get older, it's like that's when it becomes a lot more intentional. Like parenting is not just like, it's not just showing up. It is showing up, but it's intentionally showing up. The things you have to impart by just showing up, you know what I mean? Like going to like Little League games and stuff like that. My dad did all that stuff,
Yeah, I'm trying to get him into movies. And I mean, he said one time, he's like, I don't like movies. I hate movies. I'm like, you can never say that in this house. I mean, I was teasing him.
No. That's
but you
legit.
cannot say that. But like, the thing is, he doesn't hate movies. He just didn't want to watch a movie in that moment. Because he sits down and watches these movies, and he's right with me. Like, we watched Rocky. He wants to watch all the Rockies. We're through Rocky 3 now, and he's loving it. And he saw Alien, and he loved Alien. And so
10?
Yeah. Yeah,
dude,
I know.
Nice, man. No
it's a point of
judges.
contention with my wife sometimes. Just like I leave, and then you and Eli are watching all these movies.
Yeah,
I'm like, but I won't show the the Halloweens and the Friday the 13th, like this, the really heavy duty.
Anyway, in my opinion, that's
it's the monster. The monster stuff he can handle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
My almost 16-year-old daughter has like really turned into a bit of a horror buff. And I showed her The Fly like 2 weeks ago because I hadn't seen The Fly in ages, man.
Great
that movie fucking rips, man.
It's great.
Jeff Goldblum.
Solid.
Dude, what a crazy singular actor that guy has always been. You know what I mean? Like I watched him, I was like, fuck you.
I know.
How did you do that?
That's the dream, right? Like I love being a character actor, and when they were making all the kind of studio comedies and I was popping up in them all, like I was such a big fan of like Warren Oates and these old school actors that you just see everywhere. And I'm like, oh, that would be an incredible career. I was happy with that. I didn't need to be the lead, and then the industry changes and you're like, all right, we'll pivot this way. But like I love character actors.
Yeah,
And
me too, man.
Boom is just
for me.
one of the best.
It wasn't like I loved comedy growing up. Like I eventually ended up going into comedy, obviously, but that wasn't what grabbed me.
Yeah.
Like I looked up to Chris Farley and the big bold.
But you weren't like a comedy nerd?
No, the thing that I loved the most was like about character actors was like J.K. Simmons, Richard Jenkins, these guys that I saw my whole life, and then in their 60s got their flowers. You know what I mean? Like these actors that were just delivering impactful, standout performances in dramas. And in comedies too, but always had a little extra gravitas there. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, where do you get those balls, man? Philip Seymour Hoffman. Like I started watching him probably like Twister. You know what I mean? Like I noticed him maybe in Twister or The Boys of St. Vincent. I was like, who's this guy,
Isn't
man?
that great when you see someone like that with that kind of power and presence? We're like, who's that guy? But with Philip Seymour Hoffman, I think it was Son of the Woman for me, where I was like, I can't take my eyes off this guy.
Yeah.
And like it was wonderful. I love when you find actors like that in the beginning, and then you see them just blow everyone away as their career goes on.
All right, I want to take it back for 1 sec.
Yeah, let's go back, baby.
We start the show with confessions every week. Like, and it can be as simple as like, hey, I farted in my kid's face last night. You know, anything you want.
One confession is that I've become a bit of a bird watcher.
Oh,
I've been
shame, Joe. Oh,
I guess that's not really
bird watching.
I'm like I've really enjoyed. Like right now, I have a project where I'm kind of building a platform for a bird feeder.
All right,
and I live in Glendale. We're in this area where there's just so many birds, and I've been hearing them, and I'm like, "What bird?" So I've taken bird watching under.
That's a tomtit. Yeah, that's a warbler. That's a
northern mockingbird right there. That might be a hooded oriole. They're not around these parts normally.
Hooded orioles. They come from afar.
Afar.
Yes.
So that's a little bit of a confession, kind of like getting into what I for some reason always associated with bird watching with like you're 70 years old and you're on the porch watching.
No, man.
But no, it's not not really true.
Yeah.
It's really for anyone. So I think that's one confession is
all right. You've been getting.
I've been getting into what I formerly considered geriatric type of hobbies.
Well, how old are you now? You and you're
55.
You're 55.
Yeah.
I'm 48, and I'm getting to that. I wouldn't call them geriatric hobbies per se, but like I love a walk, like like a very slow paced, meandering, like no agenda walk.
Yeah.
So I have the New York Times crossword puzzle app, and I do crosswords, and that became a little too newfangled for me. I was like, I'm on my phone too much, so I went and bought like a huge tome of crosswords and New York Times
that's
games.
good.
And I sit there with a pencil and my morning beverage, whatever it is, and I'll get lost in this fucking book for 2 hours, man.
Oh, that's great. Crosswords are great. I used to do that. I need to do them more just to keep the brain.
I mean, I do all of them, like Wordle,
I do
Panagram, the connections, all the stuff, man. I wouldn't say it's geriatric because I started doing those when I was in my 20s.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's a complete fallacy. Like that. This is my own like hang up with.
Yeah, there's like an association with it that I think we kind of come up against, and you're like, well, what?
I mean, one of the like in trying to kind of navigate this new kind of where our industry is, it's like the podcast, and my manager's like, you got to come with a podcast. I'm like, everyone's got one. Like, I don't know. What am I going to do? So I had two ideas.
The cool thing is to not have a podcast.
I know. Well, that's where I'm at.
I don't have a podcast. What?
My two ideas, and I was half joking, but half not. One was called like For the Birds, where like me and a friend kind of like talk about whatever, and on the porch, and we look at some birds. And the other is kind of similar what I think most of them do. This one of them, which is like, it's called I Haven't Seen You in Effing Forever.
Right.
And it's just
like, holy shit, man.
Yeah. And it's just a catch up.
Remember when? That's a good one too.
And the minimum is like, you can't have a guest. It has to be at least 3 years, maybe 5.
At
least 5 years.
Because 3 is like,
you're right.
Most of my friends I don't see for 3 years, and I'm like, what?
So at least like 5 years would be the prerequisite.
So I would cut it as a guest.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
5 years.
I'd love to have you. Anyway, so I've been juggling what's next on that.
Oh, dude, the podcast thing, man. Like, It's funny. I've been in the podcast game for a
You
long
have.
time. People don't realize, like, I had a podcast with Zach Levi. Paul Shear was my boss over at Wolf Pop for like 5 years. We did a podcast called Picking Favorites. We did like 100 and I don't know how many episodes. And that was like 15 years ago. And then I developed, here's my favorite pod that I developed that it almost got made. It was called Talking Shit. And it literally was about shitting your pants stories.
Oh, okay.
Because every time you're in a van on the to and from, where everyone eventually kind of gets into, like, in my case anyway, like maybe it's because of me and my energy. I have very strong fecal energy. So I'm like, oh, I had a really great shit this morning. I'm like, oh man, I didn't have a good shit last night, and I didn't sleep well. I'm like, oh, really, you know, my digestive activity is very important to me, my GI,
right?
And I just started to notice that everybody has. Once you start talking about shit, you're just kind of like, yeah,
it's hard to stop.
Yeah, and it's like the fucking gloves are off and you get into it. And then it goes one step further and it's like you start telling stories about shitting your pants. And I have many.
Do you?
Multiple pants shitting stories. I've told
you have enough to fill a good season of podcast.
A whole season of podcast.
Yeah.
I have like 4 or 5. But the point is you can kick off and relate tit for tat.
That's tough
shit
because
for shat.
It's shit for shat. Here's a confession. I've been really working on controlling my reactivity to things. I'll go deeper. I'll go a little deeper. When I became I was trying to think about why I became an actor because I was having trouble finding the joy in it.
Yeah.
Like and I was like, why did I do this? Like, and I was thinking back and. Because I really love performing. I do love acting, but I was never one that like gotta act. I have some friends that
me neither
gotta act.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm thinking about why I want to be an actor, and part of it was like I didn't want to have like a regular job. I didn't want to have a 9 to 5 job. I wanted, and I loved movies.
Yeah,
but it was never like I gotta get on SNL.
Right.
You know, it was always something different. So. Now that I'm like 55 and it's harder to find a job, there's a lot of like, not bitterness, but like dissatisfaction where you're just like, what happened? Like, why? What happened?
Yeah.
You know, and
it's like,
and I think part of it is like I bought the hook, line, and sinker of like, all you got to do is you got to find a couple movies that hit, get in the scene, steal the scene. Then what you got to do is that you got to get a show that goes for like 8 seasons, and then you're set, and then you're good, and you coast, and you're ready to go. And that's not true.
No,
that's a lie.
Yeah,
you know, and I kind of swallowed the lie. And then you get to this age, you're like, oh. That's not it.
Yeah.
And it's all okay. Like I'm really happy with my life and my career is, I'm just lucky as hell.
Yeah.
But you're still, but trying to figure out where you fit and how you make.
What's after the lie?
What's after the lie is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So you're finding yourself in that place now, trying to find the joy.
Yeah.
of it.
What's next? Like what's the next chapter, you know?
The lie is that you get on a hit show.
Yeah.
You make money, you do it, you get to this certain level of a thing, and then it's like coasting.
Yeah.
Even though I never wanted to coast.
I didn't either.
Never phoned shit in, but I wanted my career to sort of perpetuate.
I just wanted to always be working. And I thought once you reach a certain limit, you're always working.
I had to get past the bitterness of like, what the fuck? You know, like,
and
then there was like this, why me? And what did I do? And like going over all the things that
I did everything right.
Wrong.
What happened?
Or maybe I didn't. Maybe I thought I did, which is part of my confession, honestly. But it all boiled down to, okay, what really makes me happy?
Yeah.
Like I've been so fortunate in my career, and I have these 3 beautiful kids, and I'm like, I've been sort of quote unquote forced to spend more time with them. Fortunate enough to have this, you know, foundation of a home and a life and a career that has afforded me the luxury of having these years with my kids without being too stressed.
Yeah.
And I've just like, man, my relationship with my children has become unbelievably close and tight. And like, and I didn't even realize how sort of absentee maybe I was before that, you know, like they would say things to me like my daughter, I remember picking her up. They picked me up at the airport when she was like 4, and I picked her up and she was like, I sort of feel like I don't know who you are. And I was like, but I had to be like, that's okay. Like, it's just me, and like, it's okay if this is awkward. Like,
even the fact that she was able to say that,
I know. I was like, I'm proud of you for articulating that.
Yeah.
But then I put that on like the back burner, and then I realized in these last 3 years, like things that my 9-year-old would say, who's like, yeah, I guess so. I sort of just thought you lived in New York, and we just like I kind of missed just coming to see you in New York, and like, you were like
Yeah.
our New York dad. And I was like, well, I'm your
New
dad,
York dad.
period. But yeah, it was like your
Right.
New York dad. And like, it just anyway, all these things.
I don't know. I feel like, I'm saying I'm feeling a little self-conscious about venting like that because I'm always very sensitive to sounding ungrateful or like not understanding exactly where I am. I mean, the fact is we're all ash and dust, period. And we're hurtling through space on a rock. It's a blip. Yeah.
What? Fuck.
We're doing pretty well.
I feel nauseous. Well, here, my confession is similar. My reactivity, the things that I've worked on the most in my life. I'm a recovered alcoholic. I'm 8.5 years sober. Congrats. I've gone through all the steps and done all the like resentment and taking inventory and working. Been on all these therapies.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, man. I got so fucking bitter over the last 3 years that I started like hating any movie that came out that I even got close to, or friends of mine who are booking things. And that is not my MO. I was always the cheerleader, man. Like very, very happy for people when they succeed. I got really fucking bitter. And like inwardly, I would never, put it out there. But that's my confession, is that I spent a lot of time in the last 3 years really being like, I mean, I'm not going to give you an example.
Sure,
but it's like flailing and kicking inside while pretending to be
my confession is that I've been there, and I've done that with other actors and not really close friends, but because all the close friends,
me neither.
I'm always
ones.
like, yes,
good friends. I'm like, good for
other
you,
actors who are great and probably great people who I don't know, right? And so I'm with you. I hear you,
and it feels awful, man.
I see therapists every couple weeks, and we'll talk about the reactivity, and like I'm like, so like the Buddhists and the monks, like what? And he's like, no, they still get those feelings.
Yes,
like,
they're born with the same wires.
The feelings. It is the reactivity, and part of me knew that, but like I was hoping there's some kind of state, right, where you reach where like you're almost impervious to this assault of these what is negative feelings, and it's just it's not true.
Well, we've learned something about coasting, haven't we? There is no coasting with anything. I know, man. You feel like you get to a place like when do I get to just be? You know what I mean? Like just be. Like I did it. I've done so much work. You just don't. Like you have to keep doing it. And so the other part of what we do with the confessions is like kind of try to put a plan of action into place. And for me, all the things that I had done before just weren't working. Like these, moments of meditation or centering or like really faking it till you make it. Like really like overdoing it with the cheerleading, like sending texts to people like who would beat me for parts and being like, hey, I'm so glad you got it, like trying, which is true, but also a little performative.
It's performative for yourself too.
And you're still trying to get a little something out of it. Maybe like that actor to be like, hey, what about really cool about that thing? And maybe it's like, stop.
Isn't it crazy the stories that your brain starts telling you what you think is going to help or hurt you?
Especially in this industry when you have time to like ruminate and like you sort of like are putting these weird plans together, like how you're going to, like in the beginning, like you said, it's like steal some scenes, get this thing. Then you become a recurring, then you're a regular. Then you're like, those plans make sense. These plans don't make any fucking sense.
You can't be doing that at this age. No, I mean, you're just miserable. You'll be miserable.
Exactly. It's like machinating after a while. It feels more like evil genius planning. Like I'm going to topple the whole industry. Yeah. But no, so my plan of action has really been, and it feels true. Like today I woke up and it's just gratitude. My whole plan has been gratitude. Like, we always say after these little rants, like, but I'm so lucky and I'm so fortunate. And like, we fucking are, man. Like, holy shit. Yeah. The other day I was driving home. I had this moment of like, my life has been fucking wild. Like, just so excited. Like, I even when it's like, a little boy, it's still exciting because I'm driving the ship. You know what I mean? Like, I get these reinventions and this, like, so just taking stock and like and
it always
gratitude
works.
List.
It always works. Man. The gratitude, it always works. Like,
and it spreads too, right? Like that's like a ripple in the pond. The gratitude is like dropping this beautiful little pebble in the pond, and I think everybody catches that vibe,
Oh, for sure. It also just it really does open you up. I mean, like I feel like I'm on the verge of tears all the time.
Yeah. That's another question.
Oh yeah. Well, I knew that, and I was trying to think of some specific things, but it's always been just like under right underneath.
Yeah.
And often it's like with gratitude. It often shifts from like this kind of moment of like bitterness or anger, catching it, be like, ho, like, think about this. And then as soon as they do it, they're like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes. Yeah,
like,
man.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That feels like legitimate growth when like it's not pity or sad crying anymore. Like that stuff I live with. You know what I mean? Like you sort of walk around with it and it manifests and turns into like negative shit. And it's like, but when you have that actual emotional shift into something more like gratitude
and a gratitude that is so
it overwhelms you with.
Oh, you should so
feelings.
Full, and you just can't believe it. Like I can't believe it. Look at some of the things I've done. I can't believe it. Some of the people, and it's it's very helpful in those moments.
Yeah, I usually get like 3 or 4 items into my list of gratitude, and I'm like, holy shit, you're an idiot. What are you doing, man? Like, just get out there and do some shit.
If it all went away today, are you cool?
If like my career stuff,
yeah. Where like you're
say,
pulled, you got canceled, you got to do something completely different.
Yeah. Well, fuck, getting canceled would be horrible. But let's just say, let's just say the plug was pulled on. All things career wise, right? Yeah. Now. If everything was just stripped away to me, Tyler, how I feel in the world, my friendships, my relationships, my family, I'm pretty set. Like if I didn't have to be concerned with these things, money, primarily, I'm a pretty happy, fulfilled guy.
Same.
What about you? Do you feel like if it was all
absolutely? Yeah. If like the whole thing, I mean, I don't wish for that, but I feel comfort in knowing that I would be okay with the work that I've done as an actor. I'd be okay.
Yeah. Like the accomplishments.
Yeah, like I made my horror movie. I did the show. I was
with
in
Beth, right?
With Beth.
Yeah, that was just
terrific.
Awesome.
And like I don't have any regrets in the industry. I mean, the one thing I would say is like I would love to have like a great dramatic role. What comic wouldn't, right?
Yeah,
but again, if the hypothetical is it all goes away, are you happy? I'm like, yeah.
That's good, man.
Yeah,
that makes me feel really happy for you.
Thanks.
Like the feeling of that kind of contentedness, you know?
Yeah.
Like, especially as an alcoholic, the whole thing is restless and irritable, right? Like I'm just, everything is like, what do I consume next? Where do I get the thing from next? And it's turned into Red Bull.
Is that what it was?
It's turned into a lot of things, but lately it's been like, I don't know, I've said this before, but like there's this stripping away of your comfort zone, right, where it gets smaller and smaller, and then you realize that your comfort zone is kind of your discomfort zone. Like I can't scratch the itch that I had for years.
You're not going to get the thing out of it.
So now it's always finding this like more true center and just like a place of living where it's like it's not about what I'm getting or what I'm putting in here or
are
experiencing.
you enough?
Am I enough? I mean,
I struggle with that all the time. I have this part of me it's really, that I kind of discovered recently where it's hard for me, it's hard for Joe to understand his value in the industry, but also just in life. Yeah. And it's like, I feel like sometimes it's like this void that is just not there. Which is why I find myself trying to, have people like me too much or saying yes too much or whatever it is. And that's a tricky area to navigate because you could easily slip into addiction and all these other self-sabotage stuff, which I've struggled with, but at the end of the day now I'm finding, that I'm enough. Like it's good. I could, I say those words like, do I feel it? Sometimes.
Yeah. Well, hey man.
Not all the time. Like right now, not even right now a little bit. Like you say it, but like,
Well, I think it's like you said, we don't walk around in this one state. Like every day is a roller coaster. I think it has to be more of like a trend. Yeah, it has to be more of like the ratio of when you feel enough is greater than when you don't feel enough. Yeah. I don't feel good enough all the time.
You're right.
I mean, I think I'd be a fucking piece of shit. Maybe if I walked around all the time like
the guy's like, I'm enough.
I'm enough. And that would be like, no, actually, you know what? I'm the best.
All the time.
The fucking best at
I'm
being
enough.
Yeah.
Sir, why just take the parking spot? I'm enough,
I'm
baby.
enough. I'm enough.
You're not enough to take it.
It's good to be enough of the time.
Enough of the time.
Yeah, not all
There's
the time.
Our sticker.
But I do think that like age, like I'm realizing one of the only gifts of age, even though like right now I'm fighting it physically, like I'm trying to be in the best shape of my
you
life.
look great, and you're young, dude. 48.
Thanks, man.
Oh,
Yeah, 48. But like,
great.
you know, it's all relative. Like you start approaching 50. I'm sure you remember. You're like, whoa, yeah, that shit's real.
For sure.
That's not.
You don't
like
mess around at 50.
Well, and there's no denying it at that point. You're like, you're not
That's
like,
right.
well, you know, I'm still pretty young. It's like, no, you're fucking 50 years old, man.
Yeah.
But the gift, like one of the only real gifts I'm realizing in life is wisdom, is like knowledge.
Oh yeah.
Like and really about yourself, because I think once you can look inward, you can kind of then you can look at everybody with compassion and,
for sure,
and you can give people the same sort of
and
you can
travel.
give yourself the same courtesy you give others too. And travel.
I would say, man. Like seeing how small the world really is.
Yeah.
And at the same time how big it is, like really does center.
That's an interesting point you just made, the like big and small thing. It's the same with like differences and similarities.
Yeah.
It's like you want to go out in the world and be like, look, we're all just people. And it's like, yeah, but those differences are important, and they are there for us to celebrate, not to like just whitewash or ignore or be like, hey, we're all the same. It's like, no, we're fucking different people. My brother went traveling to Southeast Asia for like 4 months or something when he was in his 20s, and he came back and he was like, the biggest thing he learned was that his first world guilt complex was pointless. He's like, people are shitty everywhere. Like there are shitty things and there are great things about every place you go to, and we live in this like we're like, well, it's so great here, and it's like, but like
we try to travel a lot, Beth and I and Eli, as much as we can. Especially at a young age. Like when I was like my parents, we traveled. We did like the summer vacation stuff a lot, like Disney World. I grew up in Florida. I was born in New York, but grew up in Florida, and did Disney World a lot and River Country. But then we went to like Ireland, and because I'm Irish, and went to Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, and that was such a big trip for me. I remember that, and so we're trying to just do that with Eli. Like seeing the world at a young age, I think is so. If you can do it, like, is really important.
I went to Florida a lot as a kid.
Oh yeah, I was there. What if we crossed paths?
We probably did. With Kissimmee.
Oh, okay.
Near Orlando. We did Disneyland a lot. Disney World. I'm sorry. Pardon me. I grew up thinking Florida was the most exotic, beautiful, human.
I love growing up in Florida.
Florida was fucking
Love
rad.
growing up in Florida.
Did you grow up in Florida?
I was born in Queens and then moved down to Florida when I was 5. And so I was in Florida, South Florida, from like 5 to like 17. By 17, I was ready to get out.
Those are formative years though, man. Yeah.
Huge. It was the best. I was in Margate, Florida, and this was like a developing kind of area. So there was a canal in my backyard. It was like, it was Everglades adjacent. And so it was like an adventure.
Yeah. The Floridian ecosystem is fucking wild, man. Like the Everglades, like that's like so anomalous. It's so bizarre. Yeah. Like I got stuck in the Everglades once. We were in an airboat, was shooting this pilot, and we got stuck in the Everglades. And like, I mean, the shit we did in the Everglades with this pilot, like jigging for frogs and like getting torn up by sawgrass and mosquitoes this big and like 700 horsepower airboats. And like, it was crazy, man. Yeah. That's lifestyle.
Everglades is scary, man.
Yeah. I liked it though.
Yeah.
It was like that. It's like, I love that. And the bayou. The bayou is always like, if I could live anywhere,
the bayou,
I swear to God, it's either that or London. It's either the bayou or right downtown London. I'm from Toronto originally.
Oh, that's right. That's
like
right.
Near Toronto. But then Vancouver was my home for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, but like the bayou for me, for whatever reason, has this romantic, God. I have this death shack fantasy, I call it, where it's like I just gave up on everything. Like it's like oh fuck up for me, but also like I don't have to do shit. It's like me like kind of shuffling out to my mailbox.
And it's a shack in the bayou.
Go back in. Yeah,
check the crawfish net.
You know the beginning of the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Yeah,
you know when you're going through the little bayou part and there's like those little like floating guys out there playing his banjo. That's me.
That's you.
I always looked at that and I was like, one day.
That's hilarious.
It's like there's like a real. I talked with my therapist about the death shack fantasy, and she's like, yeah, it's like manifest destiny. Like you at some point thought that you were worth nothing, and your alcoholism had taken over, and like so when you get to that point in your life, you can just give up. You just gave up on everything and everybody, and it's like, what could be simpler? But you would be miserable.
You'd be miserable,
right? That's why it's my death shack fantasy. I die there alone.
I never thought about that. I don't even know if I have one of those.
It's probably better that you don't.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good.
I mean, I have the desert. I guess that is like Joshua Tree, like out there and living in the desert.
That's a little bit of the similar thing where it's like, I'm just gonna go off the grid, live out in the fucking desert. I'll have like whatever I need.
Yep.
maybe a dirt bike.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
like live in like a shipping container. That's a little more my
Just
fantasy.
I use this Mad Max, Tyler.
Mad.
Or Waterworld. Oh God, I wish that was real. Like, oh, we just all fight over gasoline.
Mad Max.
No, I don't want post-apocalyptic. I want just nothing.
Yeah, quiet.
Yeah,
Some peace.
quiet, and then like
I like in the stage. I'm craving peace more than attention.
yeah, absolutely, man. That's a funny crossroads to be at in this industry where you're like, is it because I don't have the desire as much anymore to be
Right.
like the guy, or I want the peace, and maybe there isn't that much peace to be found in this
I don't
job.
think, I think there's peace. Maybe you agree. When for me anyway, when I'm working, when I'm in it, but like that's so rare.
Oh, yeah, I have been working a little bit, like here and there. Like I've been doing
Awesome.
like a couple recurrings on some things and
Cool.
a couple movies, and I just got offered and finished an episode of the new Baywatch.
No
maybe,
way.
maybe this is a bit of a confession too. So it's Baywatch. It's rebooted. It's like Stephen
Okay.
Amell is the lead, and it's got all these like TikTok stars that are beautiful with their clothes off or in bikinis, and they offered me a role, and they're like, "Can we see some pictures of you with your shirt off?" And I was like, "Ew." Ew. But my agents were like, I know you got a phone full of pictures with your shirt off, man. I was like, fine, fair. I sent some, and they're like, great. And I went and shot it, and the overriding sort of messaging in my brain was like, this is where I'm at. Guest stars on Baywatch.
Oh, I see.
And,
I see.
And I feel really shitty about that.
Sure.
But the initial response was like, that's where I'm at in my career. Guest stars on Baywatch.
Right.
And then I was like, well, hold on a second. Couldn't this be an opportunity to go and have a really good time?
Yeah.
And like find the tone of this show and like really go in for it. And then I got there, and it was exactly what I thought. It was like everyone there is aware. They're aware that they're making Baywatch. It's not like they're all like
making
wait,
Shakespeare.
there was an earlier version of the show. Like they fucking know. And they're all having a good time with it.
Yeah.
You know? And I had one of the best times I've had in my career. Well, not in my career, but recently, because I went and just
and you're around people that appreciate what they're doing and understand. I mean, it was, similar on when we did Brooklyn very early on, almost immediately, because everyone in the cast, with the exception of maybe Stephanie, had some real success in the industry, including like Dirk Blocker and Joel McKinnon Miller.
Yeah.
You know, and
been around.
And so everyone knew how precious this situation was.
Right.
And because of that reason, there were no egos. Like there wasn't any problem. I mean, that's great that you had that experience on that show because it's so important. I recently did a guest star, episode's coming up, I think, and I'm thrilled about this because I've never done a show like this, and it was on my bucket list of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds.
You did a Star Trek episode,
and Rachel Harris and I did it last summer in Toronto.
Her, by the way,
she's amazing.
Say hi if you see her again.
We have a really fun. I don't know how much I could tell, but we have a fun little episode. But at the table you could tell the tightness of everyone. They were very welcoming. They loved what they were doing. You know, I was just thrilled to have been asked to do this show because it was either and I wasn't ever a Trekkie.
Right.
It was always Star Wars for me.
Yeah,
and I always wanted to be on one of those two franchises. And so I'm just so grateful. Like I'm thrilled. The same situation.
Me too. And like that was a real lesson learned very quickly where I was like, isn't this what I just enjoy doing? And like, isn't this an opportunity to go do the thing that you actually like to do? And like, why would I ever sit in judgment of like a show that like there's hundreds of people making this thing?
Isn't it great being around people like that?
And it's like, I just dove in. I ran slow-mo and then dove in. But I also got to, because I've been working so hard on my body, I got to like get past that like icky feeling to like, right, everybody on this show, and a lot of people in the industry, that is a part of their job, is like, how do they look with their shirt off?
Well, you've been working for a while on that, right? How many? Like I remember your program and like
you've been working on my body. Yeah,
you're working on your body. Yeah, your health and everything. Like, well, I've been following a little bit, looking.
Yeah,
dude,
it's been
a
commitment journey, man, a long journey. But that's sort of the thing is like I realized this we're kind of goes part and parcel what we're talking about. Like there's nothing but time.
Yeah,
like I have my life to just kind of stay getting in shape and being healthy and thinking about, whereas it was always a race before, right? It was always like, I got to get to this thing and then I'll get that thing and then I'll get the other thing I want. It's always this
Yeah.
Like I'm running my own
It's always
pyramid
something.
scheme, man. Falling for my own Ponzi scheme. You are one of those guys, for me, from the state where I was like, fucking, this dude's like a standout. Like, I always thought you were like the funniest. No offense, everybody. I always thought you were the funniest guy in the state. You and probably Michael Ian Black were my two favorite guys.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks.
But then when you started to come, like you said, showing up in these scenes and stealing the shit out of them, like Superbad we have up here. In those moments, as an actor, I'm watching, I'm like, the balls to do what you did in those scenes and make these choices. Did you ever feel in the middle of those shoots like, what the fuck am I doing here? Or did you go in there and you're like, I know enough about what I want to do?
No. The former. I mean, for Superbad, I mean, I was pretty nervous. A lot of the stuff in that first scene where I hit Jonah, a lot of those mannerisms and all that is genuine nervousness energy.
But it worked so
that it
perfectly.
worked great for that scene. You know, that was, I didn't prepare at all. I remember, it's kind of gross.
We like it. We like gross.
I took like the biggest dump before that scene.
Nice. We'll have you on my other pod.
Yeah. I'm really embarrassed to say that.
No.
But it's true. Like, and I was able to just like relax after that and go into that scene and still use that energy.
Yeah, man.
And so I knew Greg Mottola.
Mm-hmm.
We had been in the same social circles when I was living in New York, so I kind of knew him, not well. Got to know him very well because we worked together again. Jonah had been a fan of the state, and Michael I had known a little bit. I'd done a short video with him, so there was a little bit of comfort there. But no, I just ran with it. And those other movies, you know, again, like Role Models and I Love You Man, those were like with my friends. So I Love You Man, you know, it's Paul and I who I'd known since Wet Hot. So a lot of it was just being comfortable.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about that this is a gigantic movie.
Right.
With Superbad, a little different because it was Judd Apatow as well. And I knew that was like a big deal.
That was like a rocket ship.
But even then, at that time, all these movies were being done and there wasn't as much pressure. I feel like there's more pressure now for studio comedies to perform than there was in the past. Like even the one,
because there's no back door anymore. There's no
back door and there's no like I don't know that level of like where the studio's like, go do your thing. Although we had that vibe on Gail Daughtry and the Celebrity Sex Pass, the movie now, like their vibe was there, but that's from David and Ken kind of creating
that's your own social network there. But like I feel like your exposure in those movies like that were like, from my perspective as a comedy actor, I was like, look at the swings this dude's taking, look at the fucking choices this guy's making. It was like every character actor wants to do that in a big movie, like go out there and have a crazy voice. I can't even do it. Like you know, making these choices and then everybody's talking about it.
Well,
and it was like,
I'll say that was in the script.
That was in the script.
That wasn't a choice.
But the way you did it,
but the way I did.
Can't script that.
You can't script that. No, I guess not. Thanks. When we did that scene, no one at the Galaxy game knew that we were making a movie.
Right.
It was just a very kind of like skeleton crew, and they did not like it. Dude, there was a lot of
that
genuine
so
like
funny.
shut up.
Yeah.
Like they put us on the Jumbotron for a shot, and like I don't know if you've ever been booed by 24,000 people, but it's pretty humbling. It was pretty exciting. It was in your mind.
Yeah.
But the big swings, thank you. That's thanks for saying that. But I think a lot of that is let's just go for it. This is it. I don't know if we're gonna get another chance.
Yeah. But it's just something fell out of your arm.
I've just passed a phone.
Oh boy. That felt
I'm
good.
glad that's out of there now.
Yeah.
So much more relaxed.
Now you can just chill. Put it on silent. It's like you just sort of do the thing, right? Like it's our interpretation that we kind of get paid for. Yeah. You know, people go, I like the way you interpret stuff.
For you.
You know?
What are you bringing?
Yeah. And our faces.
Of course.
These
punums. Come on.
Yeah. Brooklyn Nine-Nine reboot? Is this a thing that's maybe in the? Are you allowed to?
Man, I want to say yes, but it's just one is not really up to me. Of course, I'd be excited about that, but I think that's one of those scenarios where we don't have everyone.
Right.
it almost would feel incomplete.
Yeah.
Like it would be such a pretense that I feel like that hole would be missing. That's my feeling on it.
Absolutely.
Look, if Dan Gore's like, we're doing it, I'm like, I'm in, you know. And I'm pretty sure most of the cast would feel, if not all, would feel the same.
Yeah, for
But,
sure, man.
You know,
That's a
Andre
big
really
part of it.
grounded
Yeah.
that show. And I think it's one of the reasons why that show really worked, taking nothing away from Andy and Dan and the writers who were brilliant. Like, I think when we all realized that Andre was going to do the show, we were like, wow.
Whoa. Yeah. I mean, he's a fucking powerhouse, man.
Powerhouse.
Yeah. And in that show, it worked so well because it just the juxtaposition of like the inanity,
Yeah.
the zaniness, and then this like real, you know, man.
Yeah.
But also got a chance to be goofy in his own way on that show.
Yeah, he was so great. He was, you know, tentative about it. I mean, when I asked him why he was doing the show, I'm like, Andre, we are so thrilled to have you. I've told this story, but thrilled to have you here. But like, what are you
what the
doing?
fuck
Like,
are you doing?
You know, he's like, well, you know, I've done a lot of these very heavy shows, and I want to like feel what it's like. He had a lot of respect for comic actors. He had a lot of respect for comedy. He was a curious, compassionate man who loved his craft, loved his family, and like this was an opportunity for him to try something new. And every day, you know, we were grateful to have him. Like, just now I'm getting emotional. Here's something. You
that's
know,
fair enough.
and
man.
and it just like you realize how much time you were able to spend with this incredible guy.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes more than his family, which is
Right.
You know, he's flying back every weekend. He was just such a person that we all respected so much, looked up to, and learned from every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's
a great,
gift,
great man. Thanks, Andre.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
That was a real loss for sure. I think everybody felt that one. That was like, oh,
We
fuck, man.
learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
And how was working with Cheddar, the corgi?
Cheddar was great. I mean, that dog was really, in terms of like, you know, dogs on set, Cheddar had it down. Cheddar hit his mark. Cheddar was able to really bring it. Cheddar brought it.
That's not nothing, man. I just finished the new Air Bud movie. So I'm like, they're rebooting. They're like theatrically rebooting Air Bud. We've talked about, and it's all real dogs. There's no AI or CGI.
Yeah.
And I worked with like 6 golden retrievers. I gotta tell you, man, the standard has gone to become a professional working dog. I was like, you can't even do that. It was pretty funny. There's a lot of like, well, we'll swap him out. Get another one in there. Get another. Just get one that can.
How
sit
many
there.
earbuds did they have?
Oh my god! Like on set?
Yeah,
6.
Wow.
There was 6 of them. There was one like picture dog, the one that they're like, he's the looker.
Okay.
That dog couldn't do shit. I mean, they literally just had to like 3 trainers being like, don't just sit there and look up.
It was just for the close up. They have like close up Airbud and
you're like, great, got it. And then they put in the other dogs who could like one could like maw a ball, one could like wear shoes, all that shit. Anyway, I'm gonna take it from Andre to golden retrievers on Airbud, but the gift of a show like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I've heard you say before, like it changed your life, right?
Changed my life, and it's always so. That show is worldwide, and so many people have come up and said, like, you know, it's a show that we can watch as a family.
Yeah.
And many people here in the U.S., but also just everywhere. Like I was in Croatia, which seems to be like the Fort Lauderdale of Europe. All the different countries go there for like spring break or something. And there were like people from Bulgaria, Romania, Macedonia, South Africa, Iceland, all had seen Brooklyn. Yeah. Because I knew they weren't Croatian. I'm like, where are you from? And talk about gratitude. You just realize like how much, like when I'm having a bad day, I'll think about people that I don't even know who have found joy in like the show or a thing that I've done. Yeah. And it'll help. It'll help a lot. And so that show is such a gift. Very, very grateful.
Yeah, man. That feeling of like being in someone's living room, in their life, in their family, the family quotes you, there's like it does help on days where you're like, what is the point? What am I doing? You know, like
truly,
it just sort
it's
of
kind of why we do it. Like,
Yeah.
like, well, I really like, well, this is kind of what it's all about. Yeah, you want to have a different life. You want to kind of live a creative life. I do. I want to be a creator, not a destroyer. But like at the end of the day, you know, you say people like that are really lifted, that all you were doing is something you love.
Yeah.
And it changed their life. It's incredible.
Yeah. Well, and like storytelling, I really struggled with like calling myself an artist for a long time, or like,
you are one.
You know, I believe so now. Thank you for saying that, which is hilarious because all I've ever done is create art. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to do anything else really.
It's a great life. It's a hard life, but it's the best
what
way
a
to
gift.
go.
But like that, the import of storytelling, it can't be overlooked. And like that's all we're doing is we're helping tell stories, right? Our faces happen to be there, but like the telling of the story and the interpretation of the story and our part in it is so small, but that's such a global connective tissue, like telling stories. The fact that Brooklyn Nine-Nine is like being watched and adored by people in South Africa or Bulgaria. It's like, okay, so we do need art. You know, like we absolutely need this connective thing that makes us all feel seen in some way, or we can laugh. I've told this story before, but there was this woman who wrote me a letter and said that she was in like a bomb shelter for like months. The only thing she had to watch was my show Reaper.
Wow.
And, or was it? No, it was New Amsterdam. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And she was like, and it just like, it saved my life. The only thing I had was you guys. And I just sat down there and I was like, that's fucking crazy, man.
It's so for if one person were to say that, you'd be good to go.
She is the only one so far. She's the one person that's
like her name's Shannon, and she's now out of the bomb shelter.
Yes, she's still down there. But no, it's the importance of like of the arts. It just is like what makes us
I like, you know,
human.
every time I second guess going into the biz, I think about stuff like that. I'm like, man, this is where you want to be.
It can feel indulgent, which is why I think those moments are so important when someone goes, no, it was like, that wasn't such a indulgent, selfish thing. Like you're helping to kind of perpetuate this art form and tell stories, and which we love as human beings. We love telling.
We love stories,
and we love
tell stories to ourselves.
We're like, look at how great we are. Look how important love is. Look at, you know, we love all that stuff.
I have a question that's a little bit more serious.
Yeah.
You guys have both found huge success in certain shows throughout your career that have gotten like massive, you know. But was there any a point in time where you felt like you wanted to quit or walk away?
Quit the industry. Other than right now, you mean?
Yeah, other than right, like, I mean, several times.
Yeah.
And one was before Brooklyn. I mean, it was a classic. You hear, there's a famous story about James Gandolfini who almost quit right before Sopranos. And the universe works in strange ways. I was doing Burning Love, which I loved, with Ken Marino, written by his lovely wife, Erika Oyama. And I wasn't having a good enough time as I should. Which had nothing to do with them.
It was all
all inside, and I had reached the point where I just was very bitter. I was just like, how many times do I have to prove myself to get that whole thing? And I'm like, I think I'm done. And Ken pulled me aside on set. It wasn't in the middle of a shot, but like during lunch or whatever, he's like, what's going on? I'm like, man, I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the grind. Like, this is great. You guys are great. I just don't. And he teases me about it to this day, because like literally a month or so later, the pilot for Brooklyn happened. Yeah. And like he would, like 5 seasons in, he's like, are you quitting yet? Did you quit? You know,
that guy's a teaser. He likes to tease. Yeah.
So, I mean, good for him to do it. He's such a very good friend.
Yeah, he loves it.
And when the show was over, he was like, hey man, you did it. Congratulations. Like, great job. You created this great, beautiful. Anyway, so I was at a bad place. Yeah, that was definitely one time. But even after, in the past 5 years, I've been like, I think it would be dramatic to say every day, because it's not every day, but it's pretty often, especially at this age where you're like, that's why I kind of bring back to what I was talking about, is I ask myself what do I love about it? And what else can I do? And luckily, I don't have an answer. I can't really do much else. Forest Ranger was one, doing something outside.
Yeah, my buddy Zach became a forest ranger. Zach,
really?
Yeah. $100,000 a year.
But
then didn't Trump like basically take away?
Yeah, they took away everything.
Yeah, Rangers.
Anyway, it was hard. It's hard almost every day.
Yeah.
You know, what about you?
Well, I would say similar, man. Before New Amsterdam, and I had 13 TV series before New Amsterdam, which is crazy, man. Like that had gone
that's
one
incredible.
season or more, which is nuts. And then I don't know how many pilots. Now I look at it and I'm like, that's like, I didn't appreciate, I think, a lot of the success.
I've never gotten. I've gotten 2 pilots, Brooklyn and 1 other pilot.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, I sort of became known as like a 2 things. I was like a good luck charm and a fucking show killer. They started calling because one season, one and done. I had finished. What was the show before? Was it Animal Practice? Might have been the last series before New Amsterdam. I was like, I don't want to do this shit. I don't want to, like, no one knew what to do with me anymore.
Yeah.
I couldn't play the like schlubby idiot guy anymore. I didn't feel that way anymore. I didn't want to do that kind of humor. No, sorry, Deadbeat was the last show. And I did everything I wanted to do as the idiot stoner, like dum-dum on that show. Just threw it all on the floor and was like, that's the most you can do with that.
Right.
And I did a movie at the same time where it was like, I just was like, that's it. That's all
Yeah,
that,
you got out of the system
left of
almost.
that guy. And I went to my agents and I was like, I need to do some dramatic work. Like I love drama. It's actually kind of like I said, it's the thing that I always kind of aspired to. Yeah. But comedy came fairly naturally to me, and people were hiring me for that. You know what I mean?
Is that where did you get New Amsterdam right after that?
Well, there was a couple, like it was like a 2-year period between that and New Amsterdam where I was like doing some things, like little things here and there. Like I did Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, and I did like, but it was really, really sparse. And my agents were just like, nobody knows what to do with you. And I was turning 40, and my beard had turned white, you know, and I was just like, no one knew what the fuck to do with me, including myself. And that, for real, I was like, I got very depressed. And that's when my alcoholism got to its worst.
Oh, okay.
I ended up getting divorced from my wife, like all these things that were contributing to this like feeling
maelstrom, a storm, perfect storm of.
I went and did this thing in Puerto Rico for my friend. It was a show called Startup with Adam Brody. Thankfully, he threw me a few episodes of that thing, and it was
nice.
So I went and did that, and I came home from that, and I literally was like, I'm done. I'm so fucking tired of this, man. And I could do a lot of the things that people wanted me to do in my sleep, you know, like it was, which is that's hubris too. And it was why I was bored, was because I was like, how many times do you want me to fucking do this thing?
Yeah.
And I didn't like fat jokes anymore, and I didn't want, you know what I mean? I was like getting really tired of that. Yeah, I basically did quit. I was like, I'm not doing anything until I get something that I
then New Amsterdam came from that
and I was broke. We were going broke.
And
we were
was that
selling
did
things.
you go on tape for that? Were you offered that?
No, so that was the last big thing I can remember being offered. They sent me the script when I was in Puerto Rico, and it said in the script, we're looking for a Zach Galifianakis, Tyler Labine type. And I was like, you want me to go in and fucking read for this? Why am I reading for this? And they're like, they want to see a tape of me. And I was like, fuck you. I was like, I don't, and it's a medical drama, and like I didn't read the whole thing. I was like, fuck that shit. I'm not doing it, man. And then my agents got back to me, and they were like, read the script. It's really good. Also, we were mistaken. David Schulner, the showrunner, wants to meet with you. He just wants to sit. Him and Peter Horton want to sit with you. And I was like, I see. All right, let me read it. And I read it, and I was like,
the power of no.
Yeah. And it was the best medical drama I had ever read, because I was like, this isn't passing me the scalpel, who's fucking who. It was like patient oriented. It had like life hacks for people. Like really, it was about mental health.
Yeah.
And totally dramatic. And so I went and I sat down with David and Peter, and they were like, we want to offer it to you. It's a pilot in New York. And if it goes, and I was like, oh my God, a show in New York. I just came back from New York, and they're like, we'll make it all work for you.
Well, dude, you deserved it. You're great in it. I'm really glad that went your way, because I feel sometimes the universe answers stuff like that.
Yeah,
it did for me. But like, you can't fake out the universe. You'd be like, man, I quit. I'm done. Like, you got to get to a place where I'm like, that's it.
Yeah, like it's not like I'm doing it for.
I'm close now with that, you know. But I'm not quite there.
Yeah, don't.
No. I say I will, but I won't. But it is hard, and I think you need to kind of be broken down to that level where you're suddenly open. That stuff comes along.
My friend Mireille Enos, who did the show, she said one of my favorite quotes is like, "Careers are long, lives are long." You know, like there are always going to be, and if there wasn't, like, what are we doing? You know, so I try to remember, like,
That's a good. I'll try to remember that too.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get more uncomfortable with uncertainty.
Yeah,
And I think
yeah.
that's where you really start to thrive. Where you're like, all right, I don't know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
but you know what? I'll be all right. I've been doing it for like 30 years, 35 years, whatever it is, and I'll be okay. And then you kind of run on that swagger for a little bit. Like,
Yeah, and like the notion of quitting pops into your head because we're human beings, but there is like this little nugget in here that's like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
you're gonna do that.
Yeah, you're gonna
And
let
then what?
You're gonna let
man?
him win.
Yeah,
You're
well,
gonna let him
not
get,
even just that. Just like, yeah, right, man. Like I'm a lifer. I love this thing.
Yeah.
And like Mick Jones, the guitarist for the Clash, best quote ever, said, "Life is so goddamn fucking hard, but it's the most punk rock thing I've ever done."
Yeah,
And it's like that's true, man. You just gotta live like it's never. No one ever said it was gonna be easy, man.
Never gonna be easy.
Hi, everybody. Tyler Bean from ILYSM. I want to remind you that you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/ILYSM pod. We have Reed's Song of the Week, Tyler's Tuesday Tales. We have Reed Does, Tyler Tries. I'm posting all the time, so is Reed. So come join us, and every new paid tier member gets a direct message from me. Please come join us, and we love you so much. I want to ask you something also as a dad and a man and a dad of a son. We talk a lot about masculinity and modeling masculinity, and like there's a lot of toxicity. We're trying to sort of uncover more of what positive masculinity is, or just modeling masculinity in a way that we didn't see growing up. It was very, the messaging was very unclear.
Yeah.
Growing up, like what a man was. Do you, as a dad and a man and a father of a son, do you think about what you're modeling by way of masculinity?
All the time. Masculinity. I mean, a lot of it still resides in the kind of traditional idea that I have, which is being strong and protecting. And there's elements that I want to like instill, but what I found mostly through like just work on myself is an ability is really just empathy, and trying to teach lessons of that, of empathy and grace, which is a hard thing to teach anyone, let alone a child. Patience, which I have a trouble with myself. But I think the tool of empathy, because I feel like the tools of self-survival and self-sufficiency, he'll come around to. I could teach him all that stuff, but it's the empathy that I think is hardest. I try to teach directness in communication without all this emotion attached to it. That's really hard to do. Just
flat.
Just try.
Truth,
just tell me how you're feeling. You know, the best you can without the emotion. And even now I'm still trying to figure out what exactly I find what is masculinity.
I think that's an ongoing question, but it's good that you're questioning.
I think that male friendships are super important. I feel like the ability to show emotional intimacy among heterosexual men is still a stigma, and still seen as like weakness, or interpreted as the sexuality instead of just a tenderness of being available physically, as a hug, as a shoulder, as a to lean on. That stuff is crucial for men, and I think unfortunately with you have just complete wrecks of people like the president of the United States and the Tate brothers, who are teaching this other garbage that's not where it's at, is destructive. I think, to kind of segue into that, I'll just say that we're going to come out on the other side, because I feel like there's enough people that understand that compassion and empathy is really the only way that we're going to kind of get through it. The concept of impermanence helps me get through these days. It's not lasting forever, man. Someday it's going to end.
It has to.
It's going to stop, whether they want it to or not, and something else will start. But without digressing too much in that way, to come back to the masculinity, I think that tenderness and intimacy among males platonic like friendships is super rare and important, and really will calm everybody's temperature.
I love that answer. I love it. I'm not going to say any names, but I was talking about my podcast with a friend of mine who's of a certain age, man, the other night, and we were in a group of a few people, and he immediately was like, it's a little too gay for me, pass. And I was like, everybody knew that he said it because he felt this pressure to say it for some reason, like, and then everyone kind of let him off the hook right away, like, hey man, like, you know, like no one
was he but like, because I'll be honest, me and my friends could say that jokingly, knowing that that's not how we really feel. Was that the case, or was he really uncomfortable?
A little. I think it was. He was.
There was discomfort there.
Discomfort and trying to get a little joke out of it at the expense of the show, or whatever. But like I said, a man of a certain age and is a wonderful guy, but just this like the stigma of just even talking about tenderness and gentle, you know, conversation, vulnerable conversation with two men, he got a little uncomfortable with, and I was like, right, there's still that thing there, but I think it's the cornerstone of what
it's the cornerstone, and that I feel like so many men, when they're like, that's too gay, they're too kind of cowardly to feel the emotion that they feel.
He doesn't believe that. He felt pressure societally to say that was too not masculine enough, or it was too gay. Like, again, taking it to sexuality, it's like, well, what does that have to do with sexual preference? Two men talking about something vulnerable like that makes, so we're going to go out back and fuck each other now? Like it's just sort of like, it has no, it's nonsensical. So I knew that he didn't feel that way. There was like a pressure for him to say it. And I think the cool thing was that the other men in the room recognized that his discomfort could be held and made him feel better about it. Like, without letting him off the hook, they were just like, I think that's cool, and like we do that here, you know, in some ways, and like
that's good.
He was sort of like, right. We were at a poker game, so
and that's kind of how you handle it, though, right? That's and that's the grace part, right?
Yeah, you can't admonish someone and be like, hey man, don't fucking say. I mean, you can think that, but I think the approach would be, what's happening for you? Like, why, you know, what, I want to talk to you right now. And then like, you don't have a problem with that, right? Like, let's just call it something else then. And also, you were saying, without digressing too far into certain things, but like, the future currency, I think, is empathy. Empathy for one another is going to be the only thing that's going to redeem us, or save us, at least.
I think save us. I think eventually, and it's happening now, that people are realizing that you can't do it alone, and the gap is too wide between the haves and have-nots.
Absolutely.
And so people are, and so people are kind of coming around, I think, to that understanding, like, you know, the swagger and the puffy chest, it's not working.
It doesn't get you much.
It's not working. You know, you look around, it's not working. And so that's why I feel like, and I also feel like the country in general is going to be fine.
And I think part of it is a death rattle. You know what I mean? There's an extinction burst, they call it, where it's like, it gets the loudest it's going to get right before it goes away. You know,
it's the clawing.
And like just saying these things as loud as possible and getting as much attention, whether it's negative or positive or whatever it is just you screaming these old belief systems to the rooftops is like, okay, well, you're clearly afraid.
You're clearly
more
afraid.
Than ever that this is.
You know, I'll say that, like, you're watching the World Cup, really was into like kind of all these other countries and cultures coming in and kind of talking about like Americans, and I was like looking at these clips, and I know some weren't real and some were like fake, but some were, but it got me thinking, like, you know, this guy did not make America great, but I think he did make some great Americans. Like, I think Americans are becoming better because I think they're defining what they feel America is who they are.
Right.
And Americans are great.
Yeah.
Like, and so I like, if I'm going to give the guy anything, I'll give him that, like, you know what you are doing? You're making sure people are crystal clear on what an American is and what they want America to be. And so that's a silver lining.
You know,
I've always thought that he's dumbed it down enough. That's my silver lining, to where like he's woken enough people up politically. You know?
Oh my God.
He poked the bear.
Yeah.
He poked the bear.
America's a big
I remember, like, when I was a kid, like, the president was just like a guy that kept the machine working.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear if you did it or what you did. Here's what I want. I want shit to work.
Yeah.
I want to be able to eat, and I want to be able to make sure I can like get a doctor.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, I don't care what you're doing. It's a boring job. I don't want to hear about it. I just want to live my life, take care of it. It's not my job. That's your job.
Yeah, shut the fuck up about it, man.
Keep things, keep the wheels spinning.
Do the fucking job.
Just do the job, and that's it. I don't want to hear it.
Well, that's why he's so loud, is because he's not doing the job, and he doesn't. He never. It was never really his job to do the job. There's other people doing it all for him, right? But like, he's just.
But just make sure things work. Make sure things work. Please
make sure things work and shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Like, let's shift it back to like work ethics and stuff. Like and I know I've said this before, but I do think it's helpful. Like on set, my work ethic on jobs I do is just make it about the work and don't be a dick. And those are really the only two rules I kind of live by when I'm working.
I have that too, man. I thank my mom for that, because I started acting when I was 9. She was just like, never treat anybody like they're less than, ever. Yeah. This doesn't make you special. You're special, sure, but this doesn't make you special. Like, this is just a thing you do with other people. And I was like, that stuck with me, man. Like, learn names, understand the craft.
Learn names.
I love the Tom Hanks thing too. Like, show up on time, know your lines, know the text, and have an idea. Those are my tenets. That's it. I don't come to set with any other delusions of grandeur, anything that I need. I just want to do those things, you know? Yeah. Okay, I want to ask you, it's a new sort of thing that my friend Judd brought to my attention, was like, he wants a whole podcast called When Was the Last Time You Cried? And I know you said you probably don't know if you can think of like a specific thing, but like, do you remember the last time you had, I'm talking like let her rip kind of cry?
Oh man, like a real
cry, like
real breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, yes,
like it's going. I'm sure I've had one since, but you know, one that comes back is like, I lost a friend to alcoholism like 5 years ago.
I'm sorry.
His name is Scott Sowers, and he was an incredible person. He was like the big brother I always like wanted. And he had a way of, he told great stories. He told, like, when he told a story, he was kind of riveted, and the narrative of it all was like, they were hard as marble. Like it had a point, you know, like some people would start telling a story and you know that like it's going to go off the rails.
Yeah, or there's not really an end.
Not with Scotty. And Scotty was able to like just from the get go, and yet make it soft as cotton somehow.
Right.
You know, it got him. And I remember I had news. A friend of mine called me up. I was driving with my son, who was probably 3 or 4 at the time. It was just me and my son in the back seat. My friend called me, and we were in the middle of like a fantasy baseball draft. So I thought it might have been about like that.
Right, yeah.
And he told me what it was. And luckily I was pretty close. I was going to my parents at the time. And it broke me. But I couldn't do anything because my 4-year-old was in the backseat.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, thanks, Tommy. You know, and like, and luckily he wasn't old enough to be like, what? Who is that? What's wrong? And and so, you know, it was about 5 to 7 minutes, and I got to my parents' house, and they knew Scotty, and I walked in. I'm like, Scott, we lost Scotty. I got to get into the bathroom. Just take Eli. And so, and then it just, I was a mess. Now, I know that I probably had one since then, but like that's one that really is at the forefront. And, you know, I ended up writing an incredible essay about him, and it kind of spurred writing essays. I still write essays and short stories.
Is there anywhere we can find them, like Substack?
Yeah, I'll you know, I started a Substack, but I didn't post them yet. And I should. This is one of these things where like I just should
want people to know if they want to find your essays.
Yeah, thank you. But it opened up again. It was a great example of, you know, something being lost and something being born. And it kind of like triggered this great, you know, prose in me that I wrote short stories as a kid, like horror short stories, and it awakened this new creative outlet. And it's an essay I'm really, really proud of, and sent it to my group of boys, many of whom knew them, all of whom knew them. And got feedback and saying, this is incredible, Joe. Thank you. And it just opened up a new avenue of joy and creativity.
Well, I think if someone has to die, especially from something as horrible as alcoholism or suicide, like the fact that you can get anything positive out of it, I think if it's there, you have to follow that, right? Like otherwise, like what's the point? What's the point? You know? Yeah. And it's a celebration.
It's a celebration. I think about them like you know, there's things that happen that I'll think about them, and luckily I have so many close friends that are like what we were talking about, close, intimate friends that also knew him. So we can celebrate him. Like we get together every year for a fantasy football draft, and we'll be able to like raise a glass and you know, that's another reason why I think it's important to have these very close male friendships is because in those moments you need them.
Yeah.
Like again, it's like shared grief is half grief. It's really true.
Yeah.
And if you're there, if those people aren't there for you, it can get really destructive. It all turns in.
Oh man, I would talk to Ken about this too. Like I'm envious of you guys. A lot of your group of friends. You guys have been friends for a long time. I have friends like that, but it's not. I don't think it's as close as I want it to be. But like my group of fellows from the program, like that is where I relearned, because I go to a stag meeting where it's all men. I was like, oh my God, like I'm meditating in a room full of men and we're sharing and we're crying and we're holding each other. And and it was like, it was a real shedding of that sort of, that block, that wall of like, I don't want to get this close with my dudes.
Didn't you feel lighter?
Oh my God, dude. And now I look towards men like, and I want to like have the most open conversations with them. And like, because we're a resource for each other. Yeah, man, this is great. And now I'm like, after this, believe me, I'm gonna be like, Joe, we should go grab a cup of coffee.
And we will.
But it's like, it's a resource. Like we can understand each other very well when we get rid of the smokescreen. Yeah. You know, this idea that we have to posture for each other or be more quote unquote, you know, manly for each other and just be there because we are just men.
You could also hold both things.
Absolutely.
You can be tender and like pretty competitive at the same time.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that's a thing that needs to be eradicated either. That's like, we talk about that a lot too. Like it's such a lightning rod term, toxic masculinity, but like some of those things are baked into the cake, man, and they're there for a reason, and we can't eradicate these things but calling them masculine may be the wrong approach too. You know what I mean? It's
that unfortunately I feel like that word it's so loaded now.
It's such a catch-all too. And it's like, well, you know, I mean, we've made up everything, literally. It's all shit that we've made up, but like it may not totally work anymore, that term. But I just want to ask you quick, because I remember when I was doing New Amsterdam, which was my swing at doing more drama, which I'd done some, but I remember Glenn Howerton, my buddy, he called me one day and it was the funniest thing. It was like, hey, what's it like doing drama? You know, because he's a Juilliard grad, right? Like,
that's
like
right.
I
think I heard him talking about that.
Since then, he's, you know, he did Blackberry and he's gone on to do some much more dramatic roles. But at the time, his level of curiosity about doing drama was the cutest, like most innocent. It was like, he was like, tell me about the times of yore. You know, it was like, tell me about the like what it's like on that side of the pond. I was like, wow, man. So I know you have an interest in horror. And like, you know, there's the Jordan Peels of the world. Like, if you could just jump into another genre or you know, type of acting, would it be drama? Would it be?
I mean,
do you have aspirations to do more drama?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I feel like every comic actor does. Maybe not every. I definitely do. I definitely do. You know, a career like, you know, Bryan Cranston or Bob Odenkirk or you know, certain models. But I'd always looking for that. But in terms of like where the 13-year-old Joe lives, that's horror.
Yeah, that's
horror sci-fi. That's where I live. I was into that well before comedy. You know, I will say, I was talking about it we're all end today. Am I happy? And one thing I wouldn't be happy about is I still have not been in a horror movie. Which is a dream. Like, I want the prosthetics. I want the. That's why it was fun to do Strange New Worlds, because I was able to do some prosthetics, a little teaser. I find that genre the best because you're able to use metaphor so well in that genre. I love being scared. A lot of people don't. For me, as a young kid, it was always about how can I put myself in danger without really being in danger? How can I feel like I'm in danger without being in danger? So I can prep myself. So if danger comes, I'm totally ready for it.
But I also think it's a big part of our brain chemistry that we don't light up that much anymore because we live in such a safe.
Right.
For the majority of the time, we're just like, I feel pretty safe. For, you know, that sounds very privileged, but I think it is, you know, the prevailing speed is that we're like not in danger
things
that much.
aren't trying to eat us anymore.
Yeah,
you know,
right. So like, I think that part of our brain, when you light it up, I'm the same way. I'm like, I want I like roller coasters because I get that rush, but I know I'm actually not going to die.
That's right.
We knock on wood.
Yeah.
But the horror movies, like I like to light that part of my brain up because I think it's essential.
Yeah.
I think we have to have that fear center lit up.
For sure. That's I love that genre for that reason.
Yeah, man. Well, fuck, we should make a horror movie, man.
Let's do it.
I've never been in a straight horror. I've been in some psych thrillers, and Tucker
Well, I
and
mean,
Dale is like
Tucker and
gory,
Dale
but not.
God, first, let me just say that's a fantastic movie, and you and Alan
man.
are so good in that movie. That movie's great.
Thank you.
It's a classic. It should be regarded as such. I know it is.
Thanks, man.
I'm sure. By the way, we didn't talk about this. I think I'm going to see you at
Yes.
in Portland at a
Rose
convention.
City. Yeah.
At Rose City, yes.
Yeah.
And I know that you guys get the love there, and you should. And so, isn't that great? The fact that I've been in a couple of comedy classics like Superbad and White Hot, that doesn't go unnoticed. And I'd just love to get into a horror classic.
Yeah,
that's on the to-do list.
It was definitely on my bucket list, and it happened before I realized that I had done it. You know what I mean? I was like, hey, we made a comedy, and then it turned out to be beloved by the horror community. But like a cult classic comedy, dude, like I kind of got a double whammy with Tucker and Dale, but Wet Hot. I'm sure I told you this before.
25th anniversary.
I know. That's my
it?
comfort movie. I've seen that movie 200 times. I'm not kidding. 200 times,
amazing.
probably more. Well, Joe, man, this is fucking great.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. We did this. Like this was. You're the best, man. And
I'm so happy.
I've missed you.
Man.
And
yeah, me too.
This has been a good, really great conversation.
Yeah, man.
We'll do more of it.
We should. And it doesn't have to be taped. We can just do it. We can just sit down.
We'll bring a camera if we want to.
I'll bring mine.
Yeah.
Bring yours. Yeah.
Mine will fall out of my pocket again.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of ILYSM. I'd like to thank all of our Patreon love bugs, especially our premium top tier love bug, Roblin Rougier. And thanks Studio 1042 and Joe Lo Truglio for coming in.
Thanks again.
We love you so much, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Yeah, man.